So as exploring the new area in Genshin, you ended up coming across these ruins, and maybe they were a bit too confusing or not straightforward enough for you, but that's what this video is going to be for. Now, I do want to let you guys know that this puzzle is simpler than you think. But we'll kind of go into it step by step so that I can give you the key to solving the puzzle before I end up just outright explaining how to do it. So this is actually going to end up being on the Broken Isle, and one of the key things you gotta keep in mind is that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pillar islands themselves, which are going to end up being representative by these pillars here. The scratch marks on the pillars are not related to our next step. So let's actually head over to the top right pillar, which we're just going to call pillar 5. I like to call them in order of left to right. So pillar 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just helps keep things a little bit more organized. And you're going to see right here that there's a puddle of water. Now, this puddle of water isn't going to start automatically active. There is actually a rock up there that you'll be able to smash apart, and then a waterfall will end up coming down here. But now that we've actually got the water down here, you're going to notice these two big rocks right here. So the right rock is always going to end up raising the water level, while the left rock is going to decrease the water level. But looking back at the pillars, it doesn't really make that much sense that the numbers on the pillars go all the way up to 5, whereas the water level in each of the ponds is only going to be 3 variations. That's because, like I said, the pillars down at the bottom are a separate function. So this you can consider full, half full, and empty as far as the water level is concerned, okay? Because the next step is heading south from the fast travel point. You're going to actually notice this path down here that ends up going into a cave. I feel like this is probably going to end up being the part that gives people the most grief, just because if I recall, there was actually a volleyball wall right here that you had to smash, or maybe it was just rocks or something. But either way, you come in here and then suddenly, bum, 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 here's the key to the entire puzzle. Because again, if we end up looking at these from top left, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally ending on top right, which is 5. And you'll also remember that there's only 3 different water levels. So you can see the top left one, which would be number 1, is half full, full, empty, half full, and empty for the last one. The location of all the water ponds is pretty easy, and if at any point you notice that one of the ponds doesn't actually have water in it, it's just because there's something really close by that you're going to have to actually interact with in order to actually make the puddle fill. And remember, anytime you're at one of these puddles, there's always going to end up being these rocks to raise and lower the water level. So maybe you don't care about figuring out the solution for yourselves, in which case the top left island is going to end up being half full, bottom left is going to be completely full, bottom middle is going to be empty, bottom right is going to end up being half full, and the top right is going to be empty. Now, if you've done everything properly, you're going to notice all of these scratch marks here are actually representative of standing on these rocks, because each of these rocks is going to end up giving a different note. And it's as simple as just following the number value right here. So 1 scratch, 2 scratches, 3 scratches, 4 scratches, and finally 5. And if you've done everything correctly, that should do it. And then you'll end up having some chests spawn right here.